I know that you've been there for some of our best moments as a team.
Some of your highs and some of your lows, as you
Right,
said.
right. Yeah. So my first detective cue after three unsuccessful attempts was under you. Do you remember? Yeah, I know. And you celebrated with me, which I love, because sometimes judges don't do that. I've noticed some judges are very kind of low key and they're just like, yes, and that's that. And some like to enjoy the moment with the contestant. I think that's you, isn't it? You like
Oh,
to.
absolutely. Especially when someone says this is their first. We had several first at German Shepherd National that trial. And that's always special. It's also special when somebody titles and there's tears, there's happy tears. But particularly for detective, I like to celebrate every cue because they're hard. It's hard.
Yes, it is hard. So do you remember the run? Do you remember what happened though? Because it wasn't the cleanest, prettiest run.
I just remember it was your first. I don't remember all of the gory details.
All right, here's the gory detail. I call that run Snack Fest 2024.
Oh, right.
It was like in a school or in a gym, or I don't know what it was. And there were these little flat pretzels on the floor, popcorn all over the floor. And I remember my dog went in half searching and mostly eating. And I
Yes.
was, I was like,
I
oh,
do
great.
remember.
I was like, oh, great. This is just not going to go well. And then somehow we cued, which made it all that much sweeter. And I mean, it got so ridiculous with his eating. I don't know if you remember, I started laughing out loud
I do. I do remember that now.
because it was just,
Schools are tough for that because there's just so many kid smells and so much food and so much, body odor and stuff. And so when you've got, particularly, this was a young school, a grade school, there was food everywhere.
yeah.
Absolutely everywhere.
And I remember in the moment, like a lot of times I'm not in the moment when I'm searching, but in the moment I'm like, I can either get frustrated or I can just laugh. So I, I chose laughing. So yeah. All right. So the not so great moment that you were there for, we're going to get into a little bit later. But first, I have to introduce the podcast. My name is Scott. I'm also known as Murphy and Kiva's dad. And we are talking to Donna Morgan Murray. She is Zia Brixey and Leila's mom. Is that right?
Lelia.
Leila's mom. Are there any other dogs at your mom too that I left out?
Yes, we have Dashel here. Dashel is actually my husband's dog, but there's 4 German Shepherds that my husband and I share our house with.
Got it. All right. And this is Alert Scent Work, a podcast all about scent work. And we're going to get into it here with Donna Morgan Murray out of Washington. I want to know how you started your journey with scent work. Like, what was that first moment that led to where you are now?
So long time ago, even before Lelia, and Lelia is 14 and a half years old. So that's how long ago this was. I trained with a friend of mine, Marty Bailey, back in Connecticut. She ran this facility called Smarty Dog. And she just set up all kinds of fun things. And so one day she set up nose work. And I'd never heard of it, had no idea what it was. But it was just amazing to me to watch these dogs, find a little tiny piece of kibble hidden somewhere, something I'd never, I'd thrown food scatters before, but that's not actually finding food. That's just throwing food on the floor and having the dogs, have a free for all. But this was literally finding a little piece of kibble somewhere. And that was the beginning of my journey.
Okay. And you just loved watching I think we all can relate to love watching our dogs do this amazing thing with their nose, how they can seek this stuff out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I never tire of watching them solve the scent puzzles.
Yeah.
And I also never tire. I had so many examples this past weekend where in NASDA, so you're looking for some different things, and sometimes the dogs can see the things, but they don't use their eyes. They absolutely do not use their eyes. They just use their nose. And even though it's there right in front of them, there might be this pen that they're supposed to be finding, and you can see what the wind is doing to it. And until the dog then finally goes, oh, look, there it is. I never get tired of that.
I know. It's so awesome. Probably part of the reason why you became a judge, which I want to talk about also in a second. But so how did that looking for food then translate into the next step where you're competing? What was your first venue competing?
So my first question was, so this is a sport? This is a thing? We can go do this at lots of different places? And at the time, the only thing existed was NACSW. And so that's where I got my start. I didn't go very far with this dog, mainly because he had so many food allergies and he had some other issues. But then Laylee came along And we moved to Washington for the first time, and I found an NACSW trainer, a CNWI, and started taking classes with Lelia. And she's a gifted scent dog, that is for sure. And so she made everything look easy. And it's good to have a first dog like that because then when others came along that weren't so gifted, I realized how hard this sport can be.
Yeah. But your first dog also can kind of instill that passion and you realize it can be done, so
Yes.
you can dig in a little bit more. I had kind of a similar experience. My dog, I think, is kinda gifted that way, and I know if I wouldn't have probably gotten a dog that took to it like that, I probably still wouldn't be doing it, right? So he sucked me in, and
Yes.
now I'm stuck doing it with all my other dogs as
Uh,
well.
of
Yeah.
course.
You're involved in AKC, UKC, United States Canine Scent Sport, which is USCSS, and North American Sport Dog Association, NASDA scent work. And you also compete with multiple dogs. So was it just the just the wonder of watching your dog do this that went on all in? Was it the talented dog, or was there something else that continued to pull you in and keep you at it this long?
So by the way, I also forgot to let you know that I'm an ASCA judge too, so I feel bad about leaving ASCA out. So part of it was that it was just so much fun to watch the dog solve the scent puzzles and something that we could do at home on our own or anywhere that we went. But also we were doing a lot of agility, so nose work, scent work was a kind of a side gig for us. And I got injured, Laylee got injured, and she got better. I didn't so much get as I didn't get as better as she did. And so we did less agility. And I was really worried. She loved agility. I was really worried that she would miss it. So I began to fill our time with the various venues of nose work, scent work. And pretty soon it's so interesting because it was just last weekend when I took my young dog Zia to her first agility trial. So she had her agility debut, and I'm talking with a friend of mine and one of the that competes also in nosework sports. And we're just talking about how, geez, back in the day, agility was everything and nosework was a side gig, and now nosework is everything. Agility is
Yeah.
your side gig.
Right. I've heard other stories very similar to that, like that nose work was just kind of the side thing to something else, usually agility, and then it kind of ends up taking over for one reason or another. So it's a very familiar story you tell. I also love the fact that you said you can do it at home, right? It's a great activity if it's rainy or if it's super hot out to engage your dog and be able to, help them burn a little bit of mental energy beyond just the competing.
And it's something that I do with dogs of all ages. So the puppy at 8 weeks old, we start doing various, nose work, scent work stuff. And Laylee at 14 and a half is still doing stuff. And so everything in between and all seasons, you when we lived in New England, I would take an empty water bottle, poke a hole in it, throw a scented Q-tip in it, throw it outside, let the wind take it wherever it wanted to in the
Uh-huh.
snow, and send my dog out to find it.
Perfect. And you got
So
to
much
stay
fun.
inside. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Are you for the new puppy, do you train with primary or do you put them on odor? Or, like, what's your thought on that?
Oh, geez. Okay, here we go.
Okay, let's not talk about that then. It sounds like a long conversation.
Well, not really. It's
Okay.
just that, I started with NACSW and they start with primary and they spend a lot of time on primary. And with Lelia, I found I had a hard time getting her to not alert on food distractors. So when Corabelle came along, I met another instructor who taught me to just start straight on odor, better
Okay.
than a cookie.
Right.
And I've done all my dogs since, starting that way, starting on odor, better than a cookie. Now,
Right.
I'm blessed in that I have working line German Shepherds who are hardwired to hunt. So I don't have to build hunt drive. And I totally understand that spending time with primary, spending time with paired really helps to build hunt drive. Not a problem I have. So
Right.
that's why I do what I do.
Yep. That was a solution that worked for you, and it might
Yes.
not work for everybody. I think that's
Exactly.
important to say. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Tell me a little bit more about USCSS and NASDA. I'm not familiar with you've opened my eyes to 2 new organizations I didn't know exist. Was this just another opportunity to play the game, or do they do something different with the sport?
They do something different. So USCSS is closer aligned to NACSW, and probably ASCA is as well, because they have vehicle searches. They do containers, they do interiors and exteriors, and then they have vehicle searches. Both ASCA and USCSS really count anything that's has wheels as a vehicle. So you can have a golf cart, you can have any kind of things as in your vehicle searches. So that's kind of fun and flexible. I love vehicle searches. And Brixie, my 10-year-old, that is her favorite thing. She loves vehicle searches. So I like that about ASCA and USCSS and, of course, NACSW. Another thing about USCSS that I love is they have games. One game is called Heap of Hides. And so you have a certain amount of time that you have to find all the hides that are out there. And you don't know how many there are. And, you can queue based on the number of hides and the percentage of hides that you find. Another one is called Ludicrous Speed. And this is one that I have yet to title a dog in, but I love it. So again, a bunch of hides out there. They're all blind, of course. And you have to find, I think the first hide, you have 45 seconds to find the first hide. Then you have 30 seconds to find every hide after that. And you would think that sounds like a lot of time. And particularly Laylee is a very speedy dog, but you would be surprised how few qualifying scores there are in this game, because the pressure's on. Like if you ever watched that show Top Dog, and you had these cop handlers who were very experienced handlers, but when they're doing their job, they don't have a time clock. So now here they are in this show. It's a competition, and they have a time clock. And they became the worst handlers I've ever seen. I love watching it because oh my God, look at the pros. They stink. So I think that's what we do in Ludicrous Speed, because we know we only have a certain amount of time to find the next hide, and we become terrible handlers.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought up the time aspect because I think that that's kind of an underestimated component to some of the scent work organizations, like the amount of time you have to do the particular search. Because I've also competed in a thing called detection dogs trials, and they have a crazy long time period. It's basically just so they can get through the day. It's like a ton of time. And you're right. I'm a lot more relaxed and I can think through, okay, what am I doing? Did I push into the corners? Have I covered my perimeters? Is there any part of my search area I didn't check?
Yep.
Like that time pressure is real
Yes,
for
yes.
sure.
Yes, and so that there's a part of that in some of NASDA. So NASDA is basically you're either searching for rats in a quarry box out in a field, so it's a big open field that you're searching, or you're searching for rats in a quarry box in an more urban setting like a barn or a garage or something like that, or you're searching for shed antlers out in the big field. And then the last thing, the part of NASDA is searching for human scented objects. The first level, you're searching for handler scent, and then the other levels, you're searching for stranger odor. And so it's totally different than all of the essential oil venues, and it's a lot of fun. I started in it. I was actually giving a handler discrimination workshop at my place, and one of the participants said, there's this new venue and they do something like this. And they're having a workshop in a couple weeks. Why don't you come up and check it out? So I did. I went and checked it out. I've never been a barn hunt person, never had any interest in barn hunt. But I found that the lost item recovery, the human scented venue, was of great interest to me. And I realized again, I could teach my dog to search for shed antlers at home and we could do this. So after the workshop, I went and signed up for the trial and entered lost item recovery with Lelia and shed dog so she could hunt for the antlers. But then I watched the other things that they did and thought, this is really fun because you're out in the field. That's my favorite thing. You're out in the field just working with your dog, and you really can't handle your dog or guide your dog. The dog just has to go do the work.
Right.
And so you're just standing back and watching your dog search and have a blast. So I love it. I got hooked on NASDA right away.
That's so cool. I want to learn more about that. I kind of looked like it. Some of those things happen up where you are in the Washington area. It doesn't look like there's like some of those are kind of limited, like East Coast and the Washington area. Is that correct?
Yes, and they're Midwest. There's quite a bit in the Midwest now. But yeah, so Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, it's become very popular.
I want to talk to you as a judge for a second here. So, at the beginning of the day, judges during the briefing always, give some quick tips like, don't crowd the start line or, whatever. I want to go a little deeper since we have a chance to do that. I have a chance to talk to a judge as opposed to just, are you ready to go? And thank you. So, what are some lessons that you think handlers can take from your judging perspective? And I kind of want to talk about novice and advanced teams because I kind of group those together, and then maybe excellent master detective teams. And of course, I'm talking AKC because that's what I have experience with. So, what are some of the things you've seen so many dogs and so many handlers run? What are some lessons we can take away from your judging perspective?
Oh, one of the first and foremost is train your dog. When a handler comes to my search area and most often it's buried and says, "Well, we've never done this before, but I entered my dog anyway,"
Oh,
it
jeez.
makes me very sad because
Yes.
you're not setting your dog up for success because buried is not just a container search. And so train your dog and know the rules. That's another thing when someone comes and they're in advanced for the first time and they say, "How many hides? Oh my gosh. How many cookies do you have? Do you have enough cookies for your dog?"
So this happens a lot. I mean,
A
that
lot,
sounds crazy. Does it really?
a
Okay.
lot. And then excellent. I mean, it does. People then move up to excellent and it's like, what? There's three hides? Oh my gosh. But anyway, train your dog, know the rules, and don't overwork your dog. So many times containers, and buried are the worst, but you also see it in interior and exterior. People go around and around and around. They go around the same way 3 times, 4 times. What is your dog gonna find differently after 2 times maybe doing the same thing? So, sure, change direction. You're going around an interior search area in a clockwise fashion and your dog hasn't found it, go back around in a counterclockwise fashion because maybe the wind is doing something different. Maybe the hide is just tucked in a way they can't quite pick it up when they go around. But if you go around 2 and 3 and 4 times, whether it's interior or containers, you're just you're just overworking your dog. And I can see you can see the dog get frustrated. You can see the handler get frustrated. So, sometimes it's just good to, get in and out. You can ask for help. You actually can ask for help rather than overwork your dog and get yourselves both frustrated.
When you say ask for help, what do you mean?
So you can say, "No, my dog's not finding it." You can call the search and
Oh,
the judge can tell you where it is. You can go over there and you can reward. You can have a jap with your dog.
okay, okay.
So
So
it for me, I want dogs to leave the search area happy. And when handlers overwork it, the handler doesn't leave happy and the dog doesn't leave happy.
right. So in those, levels where there are a known number of hides, if you're an excellent and you're only finding 2 out of the 3, try it one way, try it another way, maybe be sure you're going past the edges, and then if you're still not getting that 3rd one, you would recommend just saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and call it," just so you can get that last little bump of some success and get out
Right,
of there.
right. And on success. Yep.
Right, okay. And of course, the master, I guess the advice would be to just call it. Just call finish if you've already been around a couple times.
Oh my gosh, yes. So again, know the rules, right? Because sometimes they again, even master people come in without, knowing the rules as to how many hides and particularly interior, right? Because that's just so confusing, right? Have a timer. Have a timer because it just breaks my heart in master when the dog has found everything and the handler isn't using a stopwatch and runs out of time. So if you don't call finish, you know it's an NQ. If you call finish, you just might queue. So please call finish. It's just, I can't tell you how many times in master and detective, people aren't timing themselves and they NQ just because they didn't call finish. It just breaks my heart.
That's shocking too.
Yeah, it happens a lot. Happens a lot.
Getting beyond some of this advice of like, make sure you know the rules, time yourself, don't overwork your dog. Do you have a couple little other little tidbits, things maybe you've seen just recently that we all can learn from?
So something in training, something in trialing. In trialing, I encourage people to work off leash whenever you can because you can actually stand back and watch your dog and you can see what your dog's doing. If you're working on leash, and it's amazing, people come in with 20 feet of leash and they give their dog 3 feet of leash so they get this leash all wrapped up.
Yeah, guilty as charged sometimes.
Yeah, I say just don't come in with any more leash than you're prepared to give your dog. If you're going to give your dog 20 feet, go for it. Come in with a 20-foot leash. But if you're going to give your dog 3 feet, don't come in with a 20-foot leash. You're gonna get in trouble with it for sure. But if you can work off leash, because your dog shows you so much when you can stand back and watch them. And that kind of goes then into a training thing. I encourage people, as you're training, particularly skills, new skills, say you're working on elevated hides or something like that, do one and done and know exactly where the hides are. Stand back and watch your dog so that you are able to say, I can tell when my dog's in odor. I can tell that my dog is chasing odor, or my dog's confused, or my dog's not in odor, or my dog's crittering. When you spend too much time doing blind hides and training, you're fixated on making the call as opposed to watching your dog and learning from what your dog looks like when they're in odor, when they're at source, or if it's an inaccessible hide, how can you tell it's an inaccessible hide and have the guts to call it because you've watched your dog enough that you know that your dog can't get any closer to the odor than they are.
I think it's a shame. So the way I took me a long time to read my dog because it's just the way that I learned how to do the sport, and I think this might be the case for a lot of people. I just started putting odor out and letting my dog find it. I didn't realize that the game was gonna then depend on me being able to read my dog at some point, right? I love that you hit on that because I think if somebody's starting the sport with a novice dog from step 1, you should be looking out for and be I didn't even know change of behaviors existed. I think that those are valuable things I wish somebody would have told me early on. I wanna ask you about something you shared in a detective debrief. It was on the, AKC judge's Facebook page, the
Yeah.
debrief page. This one was a detective, and the outside you said you left blank
Oh, yes.
because you said that seemed like the fairest thing to do. It was a wide open space, the wind was a little unpredictable, it sounded like. There weren't a lot of great places to put a hide where, it could be contained. So you just decided that was the fairest thing. How do you what does fair mean to you beyond that in scent work judging?
So fair to me means that the dogs have a good chance of being able to find it.
Okay.
One of my philosophies in setting detective hides, and as someone who also does NACSW and I run elite searches, in elite, you don't have to find all the hides. You only have to find half to keep your points, as a matter of fact. But in detective, the dog has to find 100% of the hides in order to queue. So I shouldn't be setting something that I don't think a dog can find.
So what I'm hearing from you is you feel it in AKC, it's really important to make sure odor is available to the dogs.
Yes.
There's a plume available,
Yes.
and you really put a lot of effort into making sure that happens, it sounds like.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And again, NACSW, this a CO is gonna set a hide that says, "I bet no, most dogs aren't gonna find this." That's okay. That's okay, because you don't have to find them all in Elite.
Are there some other things that you keep in mind when you're setting those hides that, constitutes fair for you?
So, as an example, again, this is me personally. I won't put odor. Oh, geez, I'll give this away, but I say this all the time. I won't put odor on two buried buckets back to back.
Okay.
Buried is hard enough. And the dog doesn't even have their head back down from eating their cookie when they're going to the next buried bin. Buried, I just think buried is just too hard to do that kind of thing. I now in containers, maybe that's a different story. And I tell a story. There's a handler here that has a corgi, and I had in my excellent search, I had odor blank odor blank. So I had three odors with two blanks in the middle. She did a beautiful job, and it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I had this on video. The dog found the first odor, and she said, chew. She waited till the dog was done chewing. She took a step. Dog was on the next box, and then hit the second box. Hit odor, right? Alerted. Again, then she said, chew. Let the dog chew, and moved on. Whereas so many of the other handlers bypassed it because they found that first one, and then they just rushed on, and the dog hadn't even stopped chewing, so there was no way the dog could begin to smell again to get to the next odor box. It was totally a fair search, high Q rate, but she took high and trial because she let her dog chew.
Right, right. She'd have to come back and find the ones that they missed the
Right,
first time.
right.
It's also a great time for us handlers to kinda look around and reorient ourselves while that
Yes,
dog's chewing that treat,
yes.
so
Yes,
Yes.
particularly in detective, right? Okay, this dog is chewing away and I found it on the bottom drawer of the cabinet on the left, right? Telling myself that.
Do you say it out loud? I say it out loud.
I do. I
I
do.
have to. Yeah, I have to as
Yeah.
well. Do you have a type of hide or challenge that teams might jokingly call a Donna Morgan Murray classic?
Yeah, I didn't realize this until someone pointed it out to me.
Okay.
I guess I like threshold hides, both near and far.
Okay.
So from my perspective, I wanna see the dog work the whole search area, whatever it is, whether it's detective or whatever. And so I guess that's it, right? I'm gonna put a threshold hide at the beginning, a threshold hide at the end.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and call that the Donna Morgan
Yep,
Murray
yep.
from now on. I like it. We're gonna name that after you. I wanna go back to the original story that I told about you've been with us with our best moments when we got the cue, but we also had Snack Fest 2024, and
Yes,
I want you to completely understand, I'm not blaming you as a judge. He's a food hound, I know it, but the rest of the weekend, he was constantly on the hunt for food, like,
yes,
a new problem was created.
yes.
It even caused me to pull him off odor a few times because I was getting frustrated thinking he was searching for food and not odor. I'm curious, as a competitor, what's your dog's thing, and how do you handle situations like that as a handler with your dogs?
Well, Laylee's perfect. She's always been perfect, so I never had any issues with Laylee.
That's beautiful. I love it.
But then there's Brixie, my crackhead, who isn't
Okay.
perfect.
Is he the
I
one
mean
that is barking all the way
yes,
to the search area? Okay.
yes. She barks all the way to the search area. Once she crosses the start line, she is quiet, but she still is a crackhead. So I have to keep in mind she is gonna run and run and run and run, and there's just no point in me trying to redirect her. I need to just let her get that out. Luckily, she's fast, so that's okay. We don't run out of time in detective, for example, but she's not gonna find anything for the first minute or 2, even
Really?
because she's just running around and just it's very happy. It's she's bouncing, she's exuberant, and then when she finally does get enough of a brain to find odor, then it's boom, 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 right? So that's great. But the other thing about her then is I can't rely on her to tell me that she's found everything. Again, Laylee was perfect. Laylee would find all the things. She would look at me. She would give me the look. And I would say, "Are you sure?" She would give me the look. And I call finish. And she was right. Brixie will search until she drops. So
Yeah.
I do, even though I can't direct her in that first period while she's cray cray, I do have to pay very close attention to where she has found odor, where she has been, and where she hasn't been, and make sure that she searches those spots and then decide when to call it. And there was an example at that trial in Idaho. Again, she went in and ran and ran and ran and ran and ran, and then she started finding things, and she found them fast, and so it was hard for me to keep in my head where she found things, and there was one place I was pretty sure she hadn't been, and so I pushed her back into that corner, and she found something, and then I called finish, and it was correct. But I have to really pay attention with her to where she's been, and did she get into all those corners, and has she missed anything? I have a habit of telling my dogs to look up. I don't have to. If it's up, she's gonna find it, but I have a habit of telling her, "Did you check up?" So, that may be one of the things that drives her crazy.
Right,
I
right.
I do feel I have to manage her more once she gets past that crazy phase to pay more attention to, has she gotten everywhere?
So, your solution to her crazy phase is just you just let her do it. Like, at some point where you try to do something else and you just had to say, This isn't working?"
Yeah, I just can't direct her in that phase. She's not in work. She's not in search mode. She's in I'm in a new place. This is great fun where I'm off leash because she's very fast. She covers the area much faster off leash than if I was trying to handle her. And she'd probably kill me if I tried to handle her online because she works so fast and runs through things. So it's just, yeah, I just realized that she's not working and nothing I do is going to make her work. Telling her to find it over and over is not going to make her work. And that's actually kind of one of my pet peeves when people say, find it, find it, find it. If you think
Right.
about if your
Yeah.
boss was standing over you, telling you what to do over and over again, you'd get pretty annoyed with them. So I try not to do that to my dogs. And it wouldn't work with her anyway, because she's like, la, 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 I don't hear you.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I admire about you as a handler, and I don't know you that well, and I've only seen you kind of pass through the parking lot, on your way somewhere, that, the dog is vocal, but you really take it in stride and you really keep things light. Like you don't let it bother you, you don't let it frustrate you, you don't let it embarrass you. You just kind of take it in stride and you just have a smile on your face. So
Yeah.
that's something I want to learn from you.
Yeah, I mean, she's 10. Trust me, I have tried. I have tried everything to stop that. In agility, I mean, we stopped running agility because she doesn't stop barking at the start line in agility. She barks the whole time, and I can't handle that. I admire people that can handle a dog through that. I can't. But I have tried everything. I have worked with multiple trainers. I have done everything. This is the dog who, at 8 weeks old, on the drive up from Sacramento to Seattle, screamed for 15 hours nonstop.
Oh no.
It's who she is. It's who she is. So I'm not going to change it. And most people, who know Brixie, is that they joke and say, "Oh, Brixie's here."
Yeah. Yeah. That community helps too, I
Yeah,
suppose, help you keep it light, like,
they
right?
do. They
Yeah.
do.
All right, gonna circle back around to one of my worst moments, when I was in the ring with you. My dog peed in a master exterior search earlier this year. And what made it even better, in my opinion, is in the briefing, I couldn't tell you how many times you said, "Be sure you potty your dog. We have peeing issues. Potty your dog. Don't bring your dog in here without pottying your dog." And I have to admit, I'm usually very religious, like 98%. I don't remember if I pottied him before that. Like, it's such a habit that I think we did.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, you went through this whole deal and then it happens anyway. So my question for you, like, that was just a generally a rough day. That was kind of like the icing on a cake of a rough day for me. How do you deal or recover from a rough day or a frustrating moment?
And I have a lot of them with Brixie because and so, for me, and I'll sometimes, say this at a briefing. My number one goal is that the dog has fun. And number two, and that's the dog. So it's most important the dog has fun. Number two, that I don't do anything stupid and we get a no, right? That's the number two goal. If we happen to get a cue, well, that's icing on the cake. But gotta have the dog have fun. So Brixie always has fun, but sometimes it's very frustrating because there have been times in detective we haven't even found five. So if she's in a particularly crackheady move, we've been there. And so for me, I still want her to think she did okay, whether she did or not. And so I will come out of the search area, and if what helps me to decompress is to say, "You are the worst dog in the whole world. I am sending you back to Julia. You just stink." But the whole time I've got my happy, happy voice and I'm giving her treats. And by the time I'm back to the car, it's just rolled right off me.
Oh, okay. So fake it till you make it, not only for the dog, but for yourself. Okay,
Exactly. Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Donna, it's been wonderful. I'm going to wrap up here with a little segment we call 7 questions. I'm just going to give you a quick fire 7 questions.
Oh
I
my
just want the
gosh.
first answer you're going to do great. Just the first answer that comes to your mind, and just real quick answers. If I want you to expand on something, I'll ask you to tell me more. But otherwise, just kind of keep it a sentence or two. You ready?
Okay.
What's your dog's favorite reward after a great search?
Oh, it's food. It's absolutely food. They hunt for food, and I just try and get really smelly like salmon.
Salmon. Okay,
Yeah.
salmon treats. That's it. What's one piece of advice you'd give your beginner scent work self?
Smile, breathe, because your dog knows whether you're smiling or breathing. And when you don't breathe, your dog thinks something's wrong. You're going to die, and it makes them worry.
And it's amazing how often we don't breathe
Exactly.
sometimes in
Yeah.
searches. What would your dog say about you as a handler?
She's so stupid.
Oh, come on. I find everybody defaults to the negative. What's a positive thing that your dog would say about you as a handler?
She loves me and she gives me the best treats.
What's your favorite search to run your dog in?
Probably NACSW Elite because it takes all the pressure off. I only have to get 50%.
What's one compliment that you got from a fellow competitor or a judge that really stuck with you? I'm just looking for a compliment. Doesn't matter your role at the time.
A judge who was a cop said he wanted to take my dog to work with him.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
must have felt good, huh?
absolutely. Yep.
Especially with German Shepherds. I suppose there's a little bit of pride there.
Yep.
What's your dog done in a search that just made you laugh out loud?
Oh God. Brixie does it so often.
Yeah. Pick one.
She just she hops in search areas. And so, she'll just hop and she's just hopping and all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, look, there's odor. Hey, feed me." You know?
That's
And then she goes
fantastic.
back to hopping. It makes me laugh.
She'll hop in right into a plume, huh?
Yep, exactly.
I love it. Do you have a signature distractor that you like to use in your searches as a judge?
No, because I trade them out. Like I'm packing to go away tomorrow for judging on a weekend, and I looked at what I had, and I said, "Oh, okay, I need all my summer toys." So I take my dog's water pool toys and make sure they're in there.
Oh,
And at football time, I've got footballs and things like that, and so yep. So I change them out.
I love it. You're seasonal. You come up with seasonal distractors. That's fun. If you had a music distractor, what's the playlist gonna be? Or what's the music gonna be?
Deep tracks, Sirius XM deep tracks.
Oh, so like classic rock deep tracks, is that what we're
Yep,
talking
yep,
about?
yep.
Okay.
I'll get some
Yeah.
good Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd.
All right, perfect. And what other judges do I need to get on this podcast? Who needs to have the amount of fun you just had?
Ooh, ooh. So Tracy Hill's a fairly new judge. Vicky always has fun.
Vicky Lovejoy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's hard. Going through my list of yeah, I'll stop there.
Okay. Fair enough. Donna, this has been great. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. It was fun.
I appreciate that. How can people contact or connect with you if they're looking for training or judging or just a fun hang?
So, obviously on the judges directory in AKC, you can find my address and phone number and email address. My email address is kind of a long one. It's D as in Donna, Morgan Murray. So dmorganmurray at hotmail.com.
Cool. And do you want to plug your business too? You do canine fitness.
I do canine fitness, and I think it's very important for scent dogs. And it's amazing if you think about a detective search, or if you're doing back to back, interior to exterior at the master level. Your dogs need stamina, and if they're just couch potatoes and you throw them out there without having them have good workouts, it's hard for them. And you can tell the dogs that are not in shape, who are panting and really struggling and slow. Having good core strength is important for our search dogs, particularly if they're trying to do elevated hides. I know people think, well, fitness is really important for agility dogs, but it's really important for scent dogs too.
And just companion dogs, right? I would imagine it
Yes.
gives them a much better quality and longer quality of life.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, my theme is, for the life of your dog. So from puppies through old dogs, I have workouts that are safe for all those different levels, and I can work with vets on rehab programs. And yeah, it's my
I think
passion,
that's
my other
awesome.
passion.
Yeah. And you're on Facebook. People can learn more about that on Facebook. What's your business there?
Yes, Cedar Talk Canine Conditioning.
All right, Donna. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being all that you are to the scentwork community. And this has just been a fun conversation. Thank you for being on Alert Scentwork.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it.